everybody, it's Dr. Wellwood here at the Natural Health Center, Regenerative Medicine Institute, your local medical aid chiropractor. I'm just going to kind of walking through the office real quick here. If you followed me on my personal posts and also on my office posts, then you know that I've been doing the ketogenic diet. And I wanted to share a little bit of my thoughts on that and also a little bit about my history and my background. Now, if you've been to see me before, that you know I'm a big guy. There's just no doubt about it. Dr. Wellwood is known as the big guy, and actually patients call here and they say, I want the big guy, the big chiropractor. I do not take offense by that whatsoever, because it is what it is. Even on my YouTube, which we have almost 7,500 subscribers on my YouTube, which is absolutely amazing. One of the first comments that anybody tends to make is, hey, that looks like Uncle Fester. My retort to that is, that's not Uncle Fester. That's Gru from Despicable Me, because, well, Gru is a genius for one thing, and he's also got 3 daughters like I do, and he wears black like I do, and I'm not too much in the light bulb put in the mouth thing like Uncle Fester, and I don't wear a big brown thing like Uncle Fester. It's just not me. So nothing against Uncle Fester. But when I was a professional rollerblader, that was actually my nickname, by the way. It was Fester. So it's kind of interesting. But a little bit of personal observations on the ketogenic diet. The ketogenic diet. So I've been doing the keto diet. Let's just say that because it's tongue-tying. The keto diet for this is literally my 8th day on it. So some thoughts, some observations, a little bit of history about my background as far as my prior eating habits. I was actually a vegetarian for 6 months immediately before I started the keto diet. I had gained 15 pounds on it, and I found that I was always hungry, so I'd always have these weird cravings, and consequently, I gained this weight. I wasn't a vegetarian or vegan because of the animal principles, although I absolutely love animals, but I'm also a realist, as in some people do wonderfully well on the vegetarian diet and vegan diet, and some people just don't. I was actually a vegetarian from 16 years old until roughly 23, 24. When I started graduating from chiropractic colleges, and I started doing other things. And I was very fit. I'd run 2 to 3 miles a day. I was a weightlifter, so I was very ripped. And consequently, I had kept up that eating habit of increasing calories in order to increase bone mass. And that never stopped once I actually stopped doing those things because I got too busy. So that habit kind of spilled over. After, in addition to that, I've always been a nighttime eater. I suffer from a condition called nighttime eating disorder, which basically means that I eat most, if not all, of my calories late at night. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a whole bunch of calories. It's just all of them during that period of time. So I wouldn't eat literally from 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, which is my typical bedtime, between 11 and 2 or 3. I wouldn't eat anything from 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning all the way up until 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock the next night. So it's kind of a weird intermittent fast. And what that ends up doing is that it actually causes insulin spiking. And if you talk to a lot of obese people, they'll tell you the exact same thing, is they eat a lot at night. They have a lot of cravings. Now, that has to do with a lot of different issues. I'm not going to get into today with video, but it just has a lot of reasons that people tend to have nighttime eating disorder. So I started the ketogenic diet particularly after I started reading a lot of the research. Not to get on the bandwagon, but because I just don't like the texture of meat, actually. I just don't like it. But I figured I had gained 15 pounds during a vegetarian diet and for the prior 6 months. And that 15 pounds, I would always feel tired. I was always feeling ravenous. And it just didn't feel like it was working for me personally. So I talked to my wife who has multiple sclerosis, and she's suffering from that. And there's a lot of really neat research lately that shows that a keto diet actually has a chance to reduce insulin drives and reduce oxidative stress, and works as a neuroprotective for multiple sclerosis. So if you're suffering from those types of conditions, it might be something you want to talk to your healthcare provider about. So my initial thoughts, I love it. I absolutely love it. Once I decided on it, it was done. And that never happens. Just never happens on any type of diet you've ever done. It's not been hard. Cravings pretty much stopped after about 3 days. I love chips. I'm not a chocolate person. I'm not a sweets person. I don't like that. But I love chips. And so I haven't had a chip at all, which is great. I actually started in ketosis after day 2, so I was very strict. Now, the results of that are, because I am so overweight, the pounds just kind of just blew off. So right now, I'm hovering on 15 pounds lost, and I'm on day 8. So to put that in perspective, I can literally fit into pants that I haven't worn in 2 and some 3 years, as far as shorts goes. So that's my thoughts on it, on the fast acting weight loss. Now, is that healthy? Well, I think in the long run, if you are adopting a healthy lifestyle, in addition to changing diets, and you have the understanding that this isn't a diet per se, but more likely a lifestyle, then you're going to be doing just fine. I eat a ton of veggies. I love veggies. My children do not eat any type of processed foods at all. I actually cook it all myself. Consequently, they're all nice and skinny. And when you ask them, hey, do you want McDonald's? They're like, oh, that is disgusting. And I completely agree. So they will always take the good food, good organic food over anything else. So as far as cravings, again, my cravings are pretty much gone after day 3. I went to the movie theater the other day with my children, and every time I go to the movie theater, I have to get popcorn. And I did not get popcorn at all. I didn't even want popcorn. It was really cool. I can go all day, again, without being cravings, without having any specific cravings at all, which is nice. I feel pretty dang full the whole time and the whole day. I've got a lot of energy. If you guys know me personally as being patients of mine or friends of mine, then you know that I'm just a go person. So one of the things that I use as a marker of how much weight loss I've had is actually my double chins. So if we're talking about weight loss, that's every obese person has this one thing that they're like, oh, man, I know I gained some weight. Mine is my double chin. Every time I get over a certain amount of weight, my double chin kicks in. And when I get to an even higher level of weight, my triple chin kicks in. And I hate it when you're doing this and you have that huge, like, if I retract my chin, you can actually see it like that. But that's really retracting my chin. If I just do this, that looks great to me. Now, in the next few weeks, you'll actually see me thinning out even a little bit more. My jowls will start kind of going down. My face will start thinning out a little bit more. And you'll actually be able to see the results from there. So those are my initial thoughts on why I started the keto diet. I am not an expert by any means, as far as the keto diet. My percentages that I keep around, and I use the Spark People app. I think that's a huge boon. If you can get a calorie counter that you actually like and you feel comfortable with, I like the Spark People app mainly because if I do have something like a piece of cheese that's on that's not necessarily in my ingredients list, I can actually just push the scanner and boom, it's actually immediately in my system and I don't have to worry about inputting a lot of stuff. So I like it for that. And it's easier, and I've used it for several years for tracking, and you can see my steady progression up and then my steady progression down. So I'd recommend if you do want to attempt this, that you at least get a diet tracker. So the percentages that I'm using right now, I am 70 to 75% carbohydrate, and those carbohydrates are typically including Brussels sprouts, because I love Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, pretty much lettuce, those types of things. And then I'm at 20% protein and 5% carbohydrates. And the proteins that I have are beef, and chicken and fish. I don't eat pork because I find it's gross to me, but whatever. To put it in perspective, everybody wants to know if is this a restrictive diet? It's absolutely not a restrictive diet. Last night for my dinner, and I fasted all day. Last night for my dinner, I had a New York strip steak, and I had chili on top of it. It was a beanless chili from Denison's, and I had raw onions, and I had cheddar cheese, and that was my dinner. And then for a snack after that, I had this candy bar. It's called Lily Candy Bar that you can get at Yolks. It's very, 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 and you can get it on Amazon. It's very rich. I literally could not eat much of it because the sugar, even the stevia in there, it just overpowered my my palate. So sugar, sweetness type things are really, really sweet to me now. My wife is a sugarholic. She's been doing this with me as well. So I've lost almost 15 pounds. She's lost almost 2 pounds, and she's 140 pounds, people. So that's pretty amazing for her. Overall, we're good. We're doing good. I guess I'll give you guys an update later if you want. Sorry for the length of the time here. I kind of melded it a little bit more into my take on the keto diet, as well as a little bit, maybe a little bit of insight of what an obese person thinks of. And I've always been grateful for the opportunity to treat people, even though I'm an obese man. I know a lot of the comments that I get in YouTube are, well, I wouldn't let a fat chiropractor ever touch me. Well, you might if the fat chiropractor knows what the heck he's doing. So, and luckily, with my training, my knowledge, my expertise, not only in chiropractic, but also medicine and nursing itself, I have people traveling literally 4 to 6 hours to see me for one visit, driving. I have people flying in to see me for ozone injections and for perineural injections and prolotherapy and PRP. So I guess my point is just because a doctor is obese does not negate the benefit that they provide humanity in general. So if you're going to be that superficial on something that you may not even understand personally, particularly if you've never been obese before, you may not even understand what's going on in their mind and in their body. So just be kind, and please share, like, and subscribe for YouTube, and I'll see you guys soon. This is Dr. Wellwood at the Natural Health and Regenerative Medicine Institute in Medical Lake, Washington.